Hello and welcome back to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about the NFL Draft Prospect of the Week with Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky is our host, Mr. Football Encyclopedia himself, Vincent Turner. How's it going, man?
Hey, how you doing this morning, Jeremiah? It's always a pleasure to talk about this great young man that's getting ready for their new life in the National Football League.
Absolutely. And for everybody watching from home or listening to our podcast, thank you so much for listening, watching, and sharing by word of mouth by telling your friends and family and your coworkers all about our show. All you got to do is walk up to them and be like, hey, you been listening to 100 Yards of Football? And they'll be like, yeah, of course, I listen to it every week. Or they might be like, I haven't heard of that. What is it? And then you get to tell them, hey, 100 Yards of Football is this amazing show I listen to every week. It's super informative. They keep everything on the field. They keep it all about the players and the stats. I learn something every time that I watch or listen to the show. It's amazing. And then they'll go, well, how do I find it? And then you just tell them. You pull up whatever you like to listen to, your YouTube, your Spotify, your podcast, your social medias. And then you just type in 100 Yards of Football, and you'll see us sitting right there waiting on you every single week with brand new content. So just like today, Mr. Football himself, Vincent Turner, how are you doing? What is going on? And please tell us, what do you think about the young man, Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky? What are his prospects, and what does our audience have to look forward to?
When I look at Wan'Dale Robinson, I knew about the young man in high school when he was in Frankfort, Kentucky. He was a tremendous football player. Player of the year in the state of Kentucky that year, had over 118 offensive touchdowns. So that tells me this is a young man that was very explosive before he even got on the college scene. Then he went to Nebraska. His freshman year, he had 40 catches for 443 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had the best stats of any freshman that stepped on the campus in Nebraska. And that includes the great Johnny Rodgers and the great Irvin Fryer. He decided that he needed to come home. He transferred to Kentucky, and the rest is history. The young man has played in 31 college games with Kentucky and Nebraska. He's really played in 1,570 snaps. That's a lot of football, man. But what I like about him is what he did his only year at Kentucky. He backed it up in the toughest conference of all of college football. 94 receptions. 1,164 yards, 7 touchdowns. He had 5 100-yard games receiving. Go back and look at the game film against LSU. It was ugly. It was serious. Mr. Robinson put on the show. He's only 5'11", 185. But you're looking at a gentleman that went from Nebraska, came to the greatest conference in all of college football. I'm sorry, I'm just telling the truth. This going to have numerous players drafted in the 2022 NFL draft in the first round. He put up, let me say it one more time, 5 100-yard games, 94 receptions for 1,164 yards and 7 touchdowns. But let me talk about the man's skill set. We're talking about a young man, before I get to his skill set, that scored 118 touchdowns in high school. But the skill set, super explosive athlete, A+, plays fast. But listen to the other word I'm finna say. He plays fast and confident, A+. His vertical jump off the charts. Rumors are at 5'11", he's got a 40-inch vertical. Straight line speed, breakaway speed, A+ at the highest level. Elite first step and goal acceleration, A+. What I mean by that, he could put the first step in the ground and boom, he's flying out like a rocket, like a cannon. Natural pass catcher, A+. Ideal slot receiver, A+. His balance, A+. His quickness, A+. His hard, crisp cuts, A+. And he's always got the defensive backs bagging up, A+. Elusive footwork, A+. And one word I just explained, he's explosive. This is a football player that's going to be something hard to handle on the next level. And when you look at all the great players, and I go back, and I look at Wan'Dale Robinson, and I think about when I was a Dallas Cowboys fan in the mid-'70s. 73, 74, 75, 76. He got some of that Terry Metcalf in him out of Long Beach, California. And how Terry Metcalf used to put it on the Dallas Cowboys. Then some years later, Terry Metcalf's son, Eric Metcalf, with that same type of skill set. When he was with the Browns and the Falcons, used to put it on the NFL. Then he got a little bit of that David Palmer that played at Alabama. Then he got a little bit of a guy I saw up close and personal that I was in the first grade with. Went on and had a great career at the University of Memphis, at the time, Memphis State, Jerry Knowlton. Then he got a little bit of that Houston run and shoot type 2 receivers that played with Andre Ware, Jason Phillip, and Manny Patterson. Both of them were guys that were acceleration and go quick with that first step. Then Derek Holloway, that was at the University of Arkansas when I was there, was another player of Mr. Robinson's statue, fast, quick in the slot. Then Terrence Cleveland, that played on the hill at the University of Tennessee, another receiver that was explosive, like Wandale Robinson. And then, of course, he followed in the footsteps of Craig Reese, who was an outstanding football player at the University of Kentucky. So when I look at Wandale Robinson, I'm looking at a guy that's going to be productive at the next level, that's going to be explosive, that's going to have a little Christian Kirk in him, that's going to have a little Tony Pollard in him, that's playing for the Cowboys out of 901 Memphis, Tennessee. This is a guy you can put anywhere on the football field, and he's going to produce because he's done it at a high level. And the best thing that's impressive to me, he came back, went to Nebraska for 2 seasons, could have went anywhere and transferred in the country to any program, came back to Kentucky with a new quarterback, Will Levias, who transferred from Penn State, and they made music only 1 year in the SEC. One more time with Mr. Robinson, the stat that sticks out to me, 2 stats. 94 receptions for 1,164 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 5 100-yard games, and all SEC first team.
That's amazing. I mean, you can see that he is not going to stop. He is a player. This man is just going to push all the way until he gets to the highest level. That is just incredible. For everybody watching, tell us, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you think that he'll be drafted? When do you think he'll be drafted? What are your favorite moments from his history so far? And what gets you really excited about this young man? Mr. Football, Vincent Turner, what are your final words on Wandale Robinson, the NFL draft prospect for today's special from Kentucky?
Like the great Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen, Steve walks warily down the dust street. His brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of his feet. Machine guns ready to go. Another one bite the dust. Another one bite the dust. Wandale Robinson finna bite some dust in the National Football League. And he bit some dust, bite some dust, and ate some dust in his only season in the SEC. 5 100-yard games.
Woo! Do not forget it. This has been our NFL draft prospect of Wandale Robinson. I am your producer, Jeremiah Long, and you've been listening to our host, Vincent Turner, break it down.